Rockford, Illinois writer Kathi Kresol, operator of Haunted Rockford, shares the stories of three men who all fought for our fledgling country during the Revolutionary War. All three were born and raised in the East and fought in that war as very young men and moved to Winnebago County, Illinois later in their lives. Welcome to an audio version of an original article by Kathi Kresol, historian and operator of Haunted Rockford Paranormal Events, Rockford, Illinois. This audio presentation is entitled Rockford's Boys of 1776. It is an audio version of a 2017 original story by Kathi. The article first appeared in the Rock River Times. This audio article is produced by Thomas Saunders for Haunted Rockford. Copyright 2025.
Winnebago County, Illinois is blessed with many men and women who have dedicated their lives by serving in our armed forces. These men and women who sacrifice so much are recognized and honored through the year in our county at different events. Some of these events have been recorded in the local newspapers for generations. One article written in the Rockford Morning Star paper in February of 1930 spoke of three men with the headline, "The Boys of 76." These men all served in the Revolutionary War and moved to Winnebago County, Illinois later in their lives. Jehiel Harmon was born in Suffield, Connecticut on October 5th, 1762. He was only 12 years old in April of 1775 when the Revolutionary War started with the Battle of Lexington. Though Jehiel expressed his desire to go to war and fight with his older brother, his parents thought he was too young. They finally relented in 1779 when Jehiel turned 16. His brother was ill and was forced to leave the service. Jehiel stepped up to replace his brother and from all accounts fought bravely. He survived the war and married Betsy West. Jehiel moved to Rockford in 1844 when some of his children came to the West to settle and start families of their own. Jehiel died here in Rockford on March 3rd, 1845, and was buried at Greenwood Cemetery. Samuel Campbell, another of the Boys of 76, is buried in the Hull Cemetery near Pecatonica, Illinois. He was born in Massachusetts in 1762. Samuel served just over 3 months in the war, but was highly thought of by his commander. He married Grace Plum in 1793. The couple had 10 children and decided to move to Illinois, choosing Winnebago County. Samuel passed away on November 8, 1844. The third man, Ephraim Palmer, had a military career that was easier to trace than the other two. He was born on December 17, 1760, and enlisted in the Army in Massachusetts in 1777. Ephraim was captured by the British forces and taken prisoner in June of 1779. He was sent to New York and held in a former sugar house until 1780. An article written by Brooklyn College professor Edwin Burroughs, "The Prisoners of New York," offers a glimpse into the conditions that Ephraim would have suffered as a prisoner during this war. According to Burroughs, the Tories would line the streets as the prisoners were marched to these sugar houses turned prisons. The crowd would yell and throw stones at the men as they shuffled toward their fate. The prisons were dark, airless quarters, and the men, who numbered between 400 and 500, were forced to face conditions that were described as horrendous. There was little space, no adequate clothing, and very little food. Disease ran rampant, and as many as 18,000 men died in these prison camps. It was a miracle that young Ephraim survived. Ephraim was freed during a prisoner exchange and returned to his service. In 1780, he was given the task of guarding the infamous Major Andre during his confinement. Major Andre was a British officer in charge of the Secret Service. He conspired with Benedict Arnold, was captured, and held prisoner in Tappan, New York. Major Andre was actually admired by the members of the Continental Army and became friends with many of his captors. Andre showed great courage when he was hanged on October 2nd, 1780. The executioner was preparing Andre by placing the blindfold over Andre's eyes and the noose around his neck when he faltered and could not continue. Andre bravely placed the noose around his own neck. This act gained him the respect of every man gathered to watch the execution. After the war, Ephraim married Margaret Force in 1786. The couple settled in the East and had 3 children. Margaret died in 1809, and Ephraim moved his family west, finally settling in Harlem, Illinois. He was 92 when he died in 1852 and was buried in the Kishwaukee Cemetery. All three men's graves have been remembered for their service to our country, with assistance from the Daughters of the American Revolution. It's a humbling experience to visit their graves and to remember these men who were mere boys when they picked up their guns and joined the fight for the independence of our country.
This is the end of our audio article. Thanks for listening.